Okay, shalom, shalom, it's Brother Kadash. Want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. And this is going to be called, something, I don't even know yet, but it's going to be titled something on the lines of Esau's technology, And what's edifying about this lesson is the point that why we have to wait on the Lord. Now that's very important. That's very important. It's not just a title. It's not just something I'm just throwing out there. It's actually very important because a lot of different things stem just from that one little sentence. Why we have to wait on the Lord, right? So in the world today, you see a lot of people criticize us being Hebrew Israelites. The same thing if you look into history, because I've been watching a show called the Godfather of Harlem, right? And they with Bumpy Johnson, and he had a lot to do with the Nation of Islam and Malcolm X and stuff. That's all throughout that show, right? And that was one of the things that Malcolm X ran into too. That was one of his problems where it was like, do we just talk? Do we just be political? Or no, they was telling him to stay out of the political things, right? Because there was physical things that follow after that, right? So a lot of people look at us and they say, look, you guys are just talking, you guys are just on the internet. And then we go out on the highways and byways, us personally, and they say, you guys just go out there on the highways and byways, but you guys ain't really doing nothing. I got brothers that supposed to be coming down on the highways and byways with us, but I had a brother tell me, he's saying, who have you reached? What have you done? What are you really doing? I'm like, what do you mean? The whole goal is it's just to be a vessel for the Lord, right? To be elected for salvation, right? So we're just vessels for the Lord. Now, does the Lord need us to do any physical things? No. Does the Lord need us to be carnal? No. The Lord just needs us to do one thing, and what is that one thing? Matthew 24. Spread the gospel through the four corners of the earth. That's it. Be mouthpieces and spread the gospel to the best of our abilities. That's all the Lord wants us to do. And then, of course, with works come faith. Faith without works is dead, right? So you got faith, works, and believe, But as far as actually what is our assignment to do as being prophets is to go out there and just prophesy, right? And wake up the elect, right? So we are supposed to wait upon the Lord, right? Because what's the point in you could go to war now physically, but you're just going to lose because Esau was blessed with the sword. Esau still has the power in his hand. He's still in rulership. This is still his kingdom right now as we speak, right? It hasn't translated to Jacob's kingdom, even though we know we're getting to the end of these times. Now, going to Revelations 21, John the Revelator seen New Jerusalem coming down. He's seen a new heaven, new earth. That represents our power. Then we're going to have the power. But we have to wait till our Lord returns to give us that power. So let's check this little video out, right? Now, he fucking flew away. Just listen to this. Just let's just say it one more time. Just think about this right now. While you listening, watch, and you just seen that short clip, I'm gonna let more play. Just think of this line. He just fucking flew away. So my whole point in saying that is of course we gotta wait on the Lord, right? Our Lord is gonna come back with whether you want to call it technology, power. Our Lord is gonna come back with that power to give to us, right? Just like he gave to the disciples, right? He gonna give it to us too, right? But we don't have the power right now to fight against stuff like this. That's my purpose of this video. We don't have the power to fight against Esau when he's developing technology where he could fly away, bro. He could fly down, shoot, fly away, get out of there. He could be up in the sky, flying on a jetpack, shooting down on you, right? Remember that movie Purge? I forgot which one it was, but it was the one where you had so-called the black people, the Israelites, right, in it, right? It's not the last purge. It could be the forever purge, or something like that, right? And and at the end of that, you guys know what I was talking about. Jake, he had all his crew out there, and they was finna get busy, and they was pulling up to the apartments and everything, and a drone came over and cleared out The whole crew, and the main character guy, he slid under the car, so he survived it, but the drone cleared out his whole crew and killed everybody. Look at that technology. You can't fight against that, and you shouldn't try to fight against it, because you got to realize that the Lord gave them that power. So really, you fighting against the Lord power. The Lord, through Isaac, right, blessed Esau with the sword. So we have to do what? We have to wait till our Lord comes back, take that sword away from him. And then Isaiah 34, the sword should be bathed in heaven. The Lord is going to use that sword against them, the same way he took it from them. And the same thing with Revelation chapter 17, where it talks about the other nations, at the end, burning America, mystery Babylon with fire. So that's going to happen. But you can't fight against this, man. We don't have this technology, man. And we don't have that spiritual power yet to be able to fight against technology like this. It's so much. You get like little clips on YouTube, and it'd be like what's going on over there with the war of Russia and Ukraine. And I seen some Russian soldiers, and they was in like a ditch, right? And a drone came over and dropped a bomb on them. Like, just they couldn't see it. They didn't even know that it was coming. They just sitting down there chilling underneath the trench, trying to stay hidden. And then next thing you know, something falls out the sky, falls next to you. In a split second, you don't have no time to react. The thing explodes. How could you fight against that, right? And these is trained soldiers, and they getting slaughtered, right? And the dude, he was still alive. It was two of them. One died instantly, and then another one, he was still alive. And what he did is he took a grenade out, and he just exploded it on himself, because you got to think of the pain. For you to take a grenade out and just explode it on yourself to finish the job, right? What type of pain was he in, or what type of damage was afflicted from that drone dropping a little small bomb down on him? So he had to be just completely, he was done. He only had enough energy and movement to take out that grenade and just finish the job on himself. So that's how gruesome war is. So we done been made weak men. I have to admit it, I know. Like, I think I could get busy, right? And I know a lot of brothers, because we jakes, because we got that in us. We know we could get busy, right? But even I have to admit to myself, I know that we're not as strong or as tough as not even the disciples during the time they walked with Yahweh Shai. We're not even as tough as those men. We're not as tough as Apostle Paul and them was. Them was very tough men. We have been made very, very weak to this day, right? So all we really have is our faith, right? In our Lord, right? So we have to wait upon our Lord. Let's let this play. You're not as tough as those men, Judah Maccabees and them, how they was getting down with war, King David and them against the Philistines. Man, that's gruesome. You see what I'm saying? But let me let it play. Hey, that's a real video. That really happened. This ain't no Photoshop, none of that shit. That's a real video that really happened. He flew away, bro. He flew away. You see, so you can't fight against this. So that brings me to my point. It's not for us to be carnal, right? So just to get more understanding of why you say all the Hebrew Israelites, they just talking, they just on the internet talking, they on the highways or byways yelling. But because I think the group IUIC went out there to the Kyrie Irving game, and they went around, what is it called, the Barclays Center, maybe, in Brooklyn or something like that, and they pretty much surrounded it, but it was other people on the internet with big voices that was talking shit about them doing that, because they was saying, look, y'all went out there, y'all didn't slap nobody, y'all didn't touch nobody, y'all didn't do nothing. What was the point? Well, the point was they went out there and they was teaching. That was the point. The message was getting spread, because they had that big light on them. They had the media and everything and stuff like that was going to cover it. They got a lot of attention from doing that. But the thing is, what did they start doing when they went out there? They set up camps. They was teaching. So those words could be spread. That's the whole point of them going out there. It's to spread the gospel. That's it. It wasn't for them to go out there and smack somebody or start breaking windows and all that shit. It wasn't for them to be carnal. It's a time and place for everything. The Lord said there's a time for war. So that time's gonna come when our Lord comes back to give us the power. And right now we're at a major disadvantage. It don't matter if you got 1,000 2,000 members. They all could be wiped out easily. How many Russian soldiers you think have been wiped out so far in the small war? This is a small war, right? For the small period of time that's been going on between Russia and Ukraine. How many Russian soldiers you think that have been wiped out? I'm sure it's over thousands, couple thousand. How many you think have been wiped out on the Ukrainian side? These are trained soldiers with equipment behind them, and there's still probably hundreds of thousands at this time that have lost their life. So what is 1,000, 2,000 men? You'd be stupid to think that that's enough to try to put up a resistance or fight. So it's not for us to do that. And a lot of people want us to do that just so they could be justified in Esau coming against us to say, oh look, they're militant, or oh look, they're carnal, or oh look, they're really bad and committing crimes, right? So we just stick to what? We stick to just teaching the truth. Nobody could blame the ministry, right? It can't be blamed when it comes to us, because we don't do any crimes. We don't do any crimes. We don't do any of that stuff. We don't stand to do any of that stuff or behind those actions or none of that. Our only job and our only interest is to teach the Bible and spread the gospel, right? Because we're waiting on something. Now, what we're waiting on, that's what these heathens should be afraid of. This is Zephaniah 3, verse 8. Therefore, wait ye upon me, saith the Lord. Wait upon me until the day that I rise up to the prey, right? Now, you remember that group, Not Fucking Around Coalition, the NFAC, right? And they was talking shit about the Hebrew Israelites, right? And we pull precepts like this. We're supposed to wait upon the Lord. But they wanted to get busy themselves. Now, where they at now? We don't hear shit about them now. You see what I'm saying? You had to, because the whole point is that we're not going to save ourselves. That's the glory. That's why Yahweh Shai is going to be glorified. That's what his name means. He delivers. Right? That's why when you go to Deuteronomy 28, verse 68, it says, no man shall buy thee at the end. Meaning no man shall redeem us. No man shall save us out of these curses. The only one that's going to save us out of these curses is Yahweh Shai, in the power of his father, Yahweh. That's it. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh in the name of his son, Yahweh Shai. That's the only thing that's going to deliver us and save us. Not for us to pick up and to save ourselves. But at the same time, the Lord is going to give us power. And the Lord's not only going to get vengeance, he's going to allow his people to get vengeance too at the same time. But that's after he returns. This is Zephaniah 3, verse 8. Brothers going to get spiritual power before the Lord actually, Revelations 1 and 7 split open the sky and everything. Brothers going to get spiritual power. Brothers going to put in some work too. All right, Zephaniah 3 and 8, I read it again. Therefore wait up ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, right, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So the Lord's going to do that. And what does that think? I mean, what does that make you think about? Joel chapter 3, right? So let's go there. Joel 3, KJV. But the whole point is the Lord's going to gather them, and the Lord's going to plead with them with fire, right? This is Joel chapter 3, verse 1. It says, for behold, in those days and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. So who's going to do it? It said I. Who is that? The Lord's going to save us, right? It says I would gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh's judgment, right? And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel. So he's coming to save Israel, not all other nations. Those other nations are going to be judged. It says who they have scattered among the nations, but you have Israelites that are scattered amongst these nations that come looking like these nations. So it's not that all nations could be saved, it's that Israelites that are scattered amongst these nations can be saved, elected to be saved. It says, imparted my land and have cast and they have cast lots for my people and had given a boy for a harlot and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. But the point is the Lord is going. Verse 4, yeah, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me recompense? If ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? So the Lord gonna return that on them, and he gonna judge them with fire and brimstone, right? And he gonna give us power to actually fight, because there is a war in heaven. Revelations chapter 12 speaks about that. Matter of fact, let's go there. Revelations 12. We'll start at verse 7. Revelations 12, verse 7. And there was a war in heaven. So the Lord, he's coming back for war. There's a time and a place for everything. So the Lord is a man of war, So there is going to be a war. It says Michael and his angels fought. So there's going to be a time to fight. Michael and the angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not. Neither was their place found anymore in heaven. And that great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, right? The dragon, the beast, interchangeable, right? NATO, the armies of the earth, like it says in Revelations 19, starting at verse 19, the kings and the armies of the earth coming together to fight against the Lord. Called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, he was cast into the earth, and his angels were cast with him, right? Now let's go to Revelations 19 to give you more insight of what that's talking about. Revelations 19, verse 19, straight to the point. And it says, and I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his armies. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worship his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone, right? And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse. What's that? That's fighting. That's war. Who sat upon the horse? That's talking about Yahweh Shai. It says the remnant was slain with the sword. The slain of the Lord is many, right? Which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. So it's not going to be a literal sword coming out his mouth. What it's talking about is what the world calls, there's many names for it, but it's talking about the chariots, the UFO. That's the horse. He's not sitting on a literal horse, but he's in a spacecraft, a vehicle, a wheeled vehicle, just like in Ezekiel 1, Ezekiel's will, right? In Acts chapter 1, he went up into a cloud. He didn't go up into vapor or mist. He went up into a ship, a spaceship, what the world calls a UFO. And that UFO going to send out a blast of fire, and that's going to be it. And, you get more details by reading 2nd Esdras chapter 13. It says the same thing. And that's how you validate the Apocrypha, because Revelations 19, right, verse 19 on down, is directly speaks about this exact same event in 2nd Esdras chapter 13. In Revelations 12 is talking about the same event too. So the Lord is going to take them down, and he's going to give us power to do it too. Precept for that is Revelations chapter 2, starting at 25 on down. So we got to wait to get that power, because it talks about, the elect is scarcely going to make it. So if you're scarcely going to make it, right, and it's a blessing to even be saved, you trying to fight against the system yourself, you don't have the power to do it, right? But you here, Psalms 27 verse 14, this is the point. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage. So you're going to be of good courage, and what's that, being of good courage? You out there on the highways and byways standing bold, right, in the face of those that have afflicted us. It says, and he should strengthen thy heart. Wait, I say. So this is the point. It says, wait, I say. So it's doubling down. Look, wait, I say. Wait on the Lord, right? Because the Lord don't want you to go crash out unless that's your lot, to go crash out. So you fighting right now being carnal against shit like this, technology like this, what's on your screen, you pretty much just crashing out. So it's warning you. It's like, look, just wait, man, because the Lord has a plan. Now, when you get those spiritual bodies, 1 Corinthians 15, and you get changed in the twinkling of an eye, and we get victory over death, we ain't gonna die no more, and we get those new and approved spiritual bodies, then that's when you need to go to war, because then that's when you're gonna win, right? What it said in Judas chapter 5, whenever we sinned against our Lord and we went to war, the other nations won, right? Matter of fact, I gotta get that. Whenever our Lord was with us and we went to war, we won, right? So what do we gotta do? We gotta wait till our Lord be with us, you know. Judas chapter 5, let me see what verse, straight to the point. Verse 17, right? And while they sin not before their God, they prosper, because God that hateth iniquity was with them. So we gotta wait till our Lord is with us. We gotta wait to that marriage. We gotta wait till we go under the bond of the new covenant, right? It says, but when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, various swords. So we could have a big army. It don't matter if the Lord ain't with us. We gonna be destroyed. It says, and were led captivity into a land that was not theirs, and the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by their enemies. And see, this is so great, right? Because who has possession of our city right now? Our enemies. So who's the people that's in the land right now claiming to be us? They're our enemies, man. This is how you put together the Bible. Verse 19. But now are they returned to their God, and are come up from the place where they were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate, right? And then it just goes on to continue to explain, if the Lord with us, we're going to prosper. If he's against us, we're going to be cursed, right? And that's just what it is. So, the point is to wait upon the Lord. But that, I'm going to say salvation to the elect. Shalom.